Hi, darlings. 102, week 15. We are finishing it out. I am about to fly to London. I'll fly tomorrow morning early, and I'm very excited. Very excited. Ah, I spoke in the last episode about how special London is to me. If you're curious about going to London, I don't share a lot about the place, but just a lot of things you could maybe expect to see if you were to go there. I don't go into depth with it, but just how personally it's affected me. So check out 101 if you're interested in hearing more about London and why it's so important to me. So 102, today we are going to talk about Gene Key 14. We are finishing our transit with Gene Key 14. It is that Scorpio Sagittarius bridge. And I'm going to pull up the dates here so that you know, excuse me, what they were. November 16th through November 21st. So we have one more day of Gene Key 14. And I'm just now thinking, I believe it's my client's birthday today. I have to send her a text message and wish her happy birthday. So, Gene Key 14, it is the shadow of compromise, the gift of competence, and the Siddhi of Bounteousness. One of the great keys to creating abundance and prosperity. In order to prosper, we must first breathe deeply into the belly, for true prosperity is about embodiment. I am a big fan of this key, massive fan of this key. My grandmother was born under this energy, and as I've mentioned, I have several clients and friends, and it is it's so special. It's so I actually have two clients birthdays. I've just got a flashback. I'm like, who else do I know that embodies this key? Um, a lot. So it's very beautiful because this key speaks about the light of the sun representing generosity as we know it in its most basic form. And one of the things it makes me think of is this beautiful Hafiz quote. And I hope you've heard it before. Let me share it with you 1 second. So, oh, I don't, oh, okay. Hang on. I didn't find it where I thought I would, but I will read it to you because I want it to be accurate. Here we are. Even after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, "You owe me." Look what happens with a love like that. It lights the whole sky. That is by the Sufi poet Hafiz. And it's one of my most favorite thoughts around abundance, around generosity. And this key this week has really been asking and inviting you into a deeper level of generosity, of competence, of bounteousness. And it may have also brought up for you the shadow of compromise, where you withhold. And we'll get into it with the Gene Key language. This is the Gene Key Bible by Richard Rudd. I am the one that calls it the Bible, not Richard. Definitely not Richard. He's a very humble man. He often refers to in his talks when I've gone to see him as a very normal man, just a normal being. And that humbleness, of course, makes him only more attractive and more attractive in the sense of like you respect and honor him. Um, and what's so cool is he doesn't do it for that. You can just feel it and see it. Cacao cheers. Let's dive in. Excuse me. Compromise is the byproduct. So we're going into the shadow. Compromise is the byproduct of living without a sense of personal freedom. It implies a lack of imagination and an inability to believe in the power of your own uniqueness and individuality. The 14th shadow is paired with the 8th shadow of mediocrity, and thus we humans live sandwiched between the two low frequency victim states. unable to envision a way out of our uninspiring life situations. Even those of us who can see a way out of our dissatisfaction really have the courage to actually follow through with our dreams because of a deep seated fear that we lack the power and capacity to complete the long journey towards those dreams. Compromise is often a very subtle thing at the beginning. It is not really about your action, but about your spirit. If you do something that you don't really like, but it is a stepping stone towards your dream, then that will transform the way in which you do it. This makes me emotional for some reason. It's so powerful every time I read it. If, however, you do something that you don't like because society has in some way pressured you to do it, then you are on a slippery slope. That kind of compromise can easily become a habit, and in the end, it will sap you and your spirit and draw you further away from your true potential. You need to keep your enthusiasm alive by seeing what you do as part of your overall direction in life. This is how you can bring meaning into even the dullest of jobs. It, I think it brings up a lot for me because I can see people that I know that get into this story. I've seen myself in this story of embracing the thing you do that's along the path of your dream. That might not be a hell fucking yes, but it is very much so in alignment with where you are going. And so I love that analogy of it. It's a stepping stone. But then when it speaks about doing it just because society has pressured you in some way to do it, that breaks my fucking heart. And when I see someone who is just doing something because so and so told them to, or it somehow makes them feel worthy, or society has pressured them into it, you can feel how they've completely compromised their sovereignty, their individuality. They've given away and surrendered their spirit. That's what compromise is saying. Compromise is often used in our language as a good quality, a good thing to, you've got to meet them in the middle. You've got to compromise. You've got to kind of give a little and they give a little and then you meet in the middle. And we sort of glorify the word. But compromise is only embodied correctly when it is along the path that is in alignment with your spirit, and it isn't a trade, like I'll do this thing and I'll trade my spirit and my truth for it. That's compromise that leads to demise. So breaking the shadow down even further into the repressive nature and the reactive nature, beginning with the repressive as impotent. For those who are unconsciously dominated by fear, the 14th shadow represents an almost inescapable dilemma. The more one compromises in life, the more powerless one feels to escape. A great deal of our actual vital life energy is held within this 14th gene key, and when we do not release this energy through work that we find fulfilling, our power becomes choked up inside us. The word impotent has the double connotation of applying to our sexuality, which is also deeply connected to this 14th gene key. Sexual vibrancy and fertility in part rises and falls upon how much fulfillment we get out of our lives. Making compromises out of fear will actually deplete our fertility. Did you hear that? Impotence does not necessarily mean that one appears weak. Repressed natures often do a good job of hiding their weakness by going along with whatever happens. True impotence in this respect is about not having the courage to stand alone and pursue one's unique path. Not having the courage to stand alone and go your own way. You can go your own way. Go your own way. Sorry. Okay, reactive nature. Enslaved. The reactive nature of this shadow is also based upon basic insecurity. But instead of, it's interesting. I had another client come to mind as I was reading this. So I have a handful. And as I'm reading this, the theme of the shadow is rooted in insecurity. And I think about how my life's work key often attracts my clients. So I attract the people who need the gifts and cities that I embody in my hologenetic profile. This is true for everybody. I'm not trying to say I'm special in any kind of way, except for I'm very special. Um, very special. Uh, my life's work key, I'm kidding, by the way, is the 20th key, and it's about self assuredness and presence. Speaking of self assuredness and confidence. And so it's interesting that I've attracted people who needed help through seasons, and they would say that they needed help through seasons. They needed that confidence, that boost of assuredness to move forward. And it's interesting that the shadow of this 14 is rooted in insecurity, which is lacking self assuredness. It's just so cool. If you want to know what kind of clients are going to be drawn to you, look at your life's work key. They likely will need what you have. And so by continuing to embody your keys, and this is what my mentorship program is going to be about, that it's already full, thank God, and just so many beautiful divine spirits are going to be in it. And there'll be more. But this is what we're going to speak about, is just by you doing the work, you will magnetize those who need you because you will embody the wound, the gift, and the city, the shadow, the gift, the city. Let me finish out this enslaved reactive nature here. This is a classic pattern in the world today. We see people working hard in jobs that are really not right for them in an attempt to prove to themselves and others that they are special. These people are enslaved to their own need for recognition. Ironically, even if they receive recognition, it doesn't fulfill them because they have never unleashed their true potential in life. Such people are merely pretending to be powerful in life. If you provoke them, they will soon show their insecurity through their rage. True power never needs to prove itself to others or the world. True power is only concerned with the job at hand. Excuse me, I'm still, my sinuses are still figuring out whether they're coming or going. Maybe London will just like snap me right back into clear throat, ideally. Okay, competence, competence. Competence carries within it efficiency, enthusiasm, flair, and flexibility, the four keys to material success. That is efficiency, enthusiasm, flair, and flexibility. To be competent means to be able to think both logically and laterally whenever needed. The key to efficiency is the ability to switch spontaneously between creativity and receptivity, which means that it is self adjusting. At the same time as acting, this gift is simultaneously listening and responding to its environment. Inside your body, this awareness corresponds to the solar plexus area, which is the biophysical zone that dictates how centered you feel at any given moment. To feel centered is to move and breathe from the belly, and for centuries, many cultures have understood this truth. The whole notion of the solar plexus and the fire in the belly comes from a profound understanding of the power of this region of our body. The 14th gift also has another latent power, the power of attraction. I love this so much. Competence creates a powerful magnetic field that not only draws in the right support, but also has the ability to magnetize material wealth. Once you have attained the gift frequency, the tendency is for consciousness to keep expanding. This is the origin of the many folk sayings about money and wealth. For example, it takes wealth to become wealthy, or wealth begets wealth. Prosperity is an infectious energy field that grows exponentially as long as it is used in the service of empowerment. Competence is unafraid of success and power and radiates confidence and assuredness wherever it goes. Bingo. Competence is unafraid of success and power and radiates confidence and self-assuredness wherever it goes. Yes. So if you want to embody this key, if you want to increase your competence, if you want to increase your success and power in the world, work your confidence and assuredness. Success and power requires those two things. It requires you to be bold enough to try, bold enough to go a new way, to trailblaze, to be seen, to be silly, to make mistakes. How many times was the invention of electricity attempted? I honestly don't know, but I do recall it being a large number. Or is it the light bulb? Or is it both? Any great invention. If anybody watches this and it takes me too seriously, they'll probably be like, what is she? She's completely. How does she move through life? With joy and self assuredness. Competence is unafraid of success and power and radiates confidence and assuredness wherever it goes. Yes, third time for emphasis. It is a force field that naturally creates prosperity. It cannot do otherwise because it has so much creative power within it. It is only to find the right outlet in the world. Finally, and I like this, finally, we'll end with this. If my book will stay open. The 14th gift has great flexibility. You cannot be rigid and competent at the same time. Competence is the working aura of someone who loves the material work they are involved in, whether that be in the office or at home in the family. Mothers, in particular, who have the 14th gift, can create all the dynamics within a family for spiritual, emotional, and material prosperity. As the backbone of the family, their powerful spirit will infuse and empower each child as they grow, as well as inspire strength and purpose in their partners or husbands. In fact, the moment you activate the 14th gift, you release a certain aroma through your DNA that soon makes you the backbone and mainstay of any family or team. Moreover, your aura of confidence and capability can be easily transferred in any direction. This flexibility is not the same as having skill. It is a fearless openness to grapple with any task in a realistic and focused way. If you do not know how to do something, you learn, and once you have learned it, you can apply it to other areas of your life. In this way, the 14th gift continually extends its potential in many different directions simultaneously. I'm actually thinking, okay, yeah, no, one of two of my clients that have this are manifesting generators, and I was thinking about their that how that just really emphasized their ability to pivot and be multifaceted. My other client that has this is a generator, um, which they can also be multifaceted, but they definitely are designed to go deep into something that genuinely, really, really lights them the fuck up. So let's talk about bounteousness. I really love this word. When the 14th city flowers inside a person, they become a driving force for humanity itself. Their every word, thought, and deed reaches deep into the morphogenetic field and pushes the whole of humanity in a new direction, the direction of abundance. I'd be curious to see if people that have this as their life's work key or in a prominent place in their hologenetic profile or whatever, or you if you just resonate with this, if you find that you increase prosperity with those that you enter into relationships with. Like let's say you get married, does your husband become more profitable? Um, or your wife or whatever it might be, or your business partner. I'd be curious to see if, and of course, this would take an individual who's genuinely embodying this gift in city. Excuse me. Excuse me. um, I'm reflecting on my grandmother, my grandfather. My grandfather definitely was like the head, uh, in charge with the title, but my grandmother played a very integral role, and I'm beginning to become more aware that the role she played, while likely less visible to us because it was through her intimate connection with my grandfather, was likely extremely vital to his success, which he had a great amount of financial success in my eyes, and I think in his eyes as well, and really shifted his trajectory outside of what his family and predecessors had achieved. So it was pretty remarkable, and I know that Yeah, I can think of stories and memories where my grandmother embodying this as her life's work, her 14. She was November 17th was her birthday. Um, Assisted in that expansion. So cool. So cool to think about. Good to have around 14s. We like you guys. The 14th city is the core archetype of your power as an individual. It is the city of bounteousness, the ultimate legacy of what it means to be a human. This city is the true genetic inheritance of man, the ability to create in abundance. But the 14th city is not about accumulation, it is about fertility. Your true latent fertility lies mostly dormant in your genes. When the 14th city flowers inside a person, they become a driving force for humanity itself. Their every word, thought, and deed reaches deep into the morphogenetic field and pushes the whole of humanity in a new direction, the direction of abundance. The overflowing fertile potential within humans is almost infinite. As this city testifies, if a single human can influence the entire direction of the species in a beneficial direction, one can only imagine what might happen if all humans were to manifest this city. The mass dawning of the 14th city would be what almost all cultures have at some time referred to the uniting of heaven and earth. Not just a golden age, but a permanent state in which all humans take the helm together, a state in which individual power and collective power become one and the same. As we have seen, the 14th gift is contagious. And we should remember that it is also contagious at its shadow frequency. There are few things as contagious as compromise. However, at its highest level, the 14th gene key holds a great destiny for humanity. As people awaken through this city, it will begin to travel like wildfire through the world. Here is an example of how the morphogenetic field works. If someone truly is manifesting the 14th city, then merely thinking about them will trigger a flood of prosperity on many levels in your life. Even a single man or woman manifesting this city can create ripples of prosperity and spiritual well being wherever they go. This is the origin of the ancient belief in the power of the guru. It is said that merely thinking of the guru or holding their photograph will bring about a beneficial transformation in your life. Mm. So beautiful. Wow. Wow, this week in particular has been an extremely abundant week for me, financially, and I'm only just now witnessing it as I'm reading and remembering some of the energy around this gene key that I've been contemplating it and allowing the finances to move and sort themselves out in a certain kind of way. And through my contemplation, I think I've unknowingly been attracting more and more abundance to me. And I also wanted to say that with this 14th gene key, and especially the people that I've seen it embodied in, they are some of the most generous beings. They understand that prosperity is flow, that abundance is flow. And so what they receive, they give, and they therefore are given more because they are keeping the circulation of currency. It's currency, current. It flows, it moves, it comes, it goes. And when we get in our fear state and we pinch off from that knowing of flow of the currency, we go into lack. We begin to compromise our true nature, which is abundance, bounteousness, prosperity. And so where can you loosen the grip on something that is precious to you? Give it away to someone. Give them your time. If your time feels very stretched right now, give them a hand. Even if you feel a little weak, give them money. Give money. Spend money. Circulate money. Receive it as well. All of these things I've just listed, and think about what can I give, and what can I give that serves someone, that betters someone's energy, that betters someone's experience of life. And when you give with a true service oriented heart, we know this, it's been talked about a billion million times, you receive. And we don't give to receive, we just understand it's the universal law. We know the code. It's a game, it's a frequency game. You can't fake it though. That's the thing. That's the one caveat. You can't just say, okay, I'll give it to this homeless person and like, okay, where's my $100? Coming back to me. It's not that. It's not that. Again, it's something that costs you a little bit. It's giving your time when you don't have time. So I'm so grateful for this key, and I'm so grateful for the beautiful beings I have the pleasure of knowing that embody this key. I have it in my human design. I have it in a minor planet. Um, I don't have it in my hologenetic profile, but as I've mentioned, you don't need to have the gene key specifically in your hologenetic profile to really resonate with it. You could have it in your human design the same way I do, or you could just feel it. You could just resonate with it. You could have the programming partner. I've spoken a lot in these gene key videos about how the subtle alchemy is sort of at work. So um, I love you all. I hope that you are feeling so prosperous this week. And if you aren't, help someone else. If you're feeling helpless, help someone, serve someone, give of your energy, give of your time, give of something that's precious to you. And do it because it feels good to help, because you can. I love you. Send me blessings, please, for my trip and my travels. I'm so excited to study more of these gene keys directly under Richard. It has been a huge intention of mine to meet my teachers and study under my teachers while they are still here on this earth, while I still have the connection and possibility to see them. And so this trip is very much so in alignment with that desire of mine that blossomed within me very strongly this year. And I've gotten to meet some wonderful teachers that have guided me through many seasons of my life and have taught me systems that I'm now using to help others and myself be better and love better and move in purpose in life. So it's such an honor. I feel so very blessed to be able to go, to learn, to fill up my cup, and then come back and spill into my community. And so stay tuned. I may do some vloggy style Phoenix Diaries. We'll see how it shakes out. I'm letting myself be fluid and flexible. I love you.